Hello guys, so welcome to today's video. So what I want to do today is to show you exactly how to take $50 to $1,000 and how I was able to do that. Okay, so from the screen here you can see this is from my phone. You can see the balance here was $50. Okay, and I was able to take that to $1,000. Now this is here you have the final result. Okay, so the first trade I had entered was $400. I made $400 from that, and then I was able to stack up, to $1,000, and that is exactly what I'm going to show you. So stick around because I'm going to show you the setup, both on TradingView before the trade played out, the first entry, and also I'm going to show you in my MT5, still from my phone, how I was able to stack up, the trade exactly, and also the setup that led to that, outcome. So let's get right on with this now. I just come over here. So this is of course my TradingView platform, and I'm just going to show you because this is the final result, okay, of how the trade played out. But the question in your mind is going to be, okay, yes, I see the final result, but how were you able to sort of predict, okay, that the market was going to play out that way, and then how were you able to stack up, your trade so that you became, you were profitable the way you were. So now let me just take you into just a sec here. Let me take you into the trading room for ParutoCapital. Now you can see here on the screen, if you see where my mouse is, I'll just open this. You can see this was the trade setup I had posted in the mastermind. Now for those of you who don't know, the mastermind is basically just a group of people who I trade with every day. So London session, we have calls every single day of the week, 5 days of the week. London session, we have a call, and then during your session also we have the call. So I shared this in the mastermind. By the way, this was automated because it's basically just set up in a way that when the price is approaching the entry, it sends an alert, to alert members of the mastermind. Let me just show you, okay, since we're here. So we have here the SMI trade alerts. That's the Stocking Profit Mastermind initiative. So here you can see that we have, so essentially when a trade is closed, you can see here the system from TradingView sends an alert to say price is close to entry, so the mastermind members can sort of get ready, and then we go to when the trade is active, it sends us a message, and then when eventually we hit take profit, it sends an alert, so everybody is carried along. So back to what I was saying. So this was the first chat setup that was sent out, okay, we're expecting, I think this was a 1 to 5, okay, so they were expecting a 1 to 5 from this trade. All right, so now with that said, the next setup, eventually, of course, everything played out. I can see everything played out here, and this was the setup. I'm going to explain this shortly, but just wanted to give you that background. Now with that in mind, let me explain this entry here. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out. Now you see here we had gold essentially had tapped into I believe this was a demand zone that gold had tapped into. So this was around on Thursday, Thursday 3 p.m. UTC plus 1 time, and now we had a kind of pull out. You can see there that gold, after tapping into this, rejected multiple times, but we had here a clear break of structure, okay, on the 5 minutes. Now with that essentially gave us, so that essentially gave us a bottom that we were now to use as inducement. Okay, so people call it inducement, people call it liquidity, whatever you want to call it. But with that structure, it became very clear that we had a very good entry. Okay, and the entry was essentially the price, our expectation was the price was going to come, clear this inducement, tap into this guy here, which is of course our demand zone, and then when it taps into this, it should hopefully push out to the previous high. That was essentially the trade idea. Okay, so that was the first entry I had shared in the mastermind, that this is essentially what I'm expecting. Price of course wasn't here at the time. Price was even yet to take out this guy, but I was already anticipating that if this goes, then I'm expecting a pullback and then a continuation. So that was the first trade idea. Now I entered the first position. Let me show you this again. So the first position I entered, let's take this here. So the first position I entered, you can see here, was the 0.07. Okay, so I was risking the entire $50 on the first position, and that's very important to understand. Okay, so the first position I was risking the $50. Now that was my main position, so I was already satisfied if price eventually got to TP and hit TP and I make maybe like $400. That was enough. Okay, that was okay. But then I knew that if the market pulls back, I'm going to get an additional opportunity to kind of stack up my trade. Now what I did was I was anticipating that pullback. Unfortunately, on the 15 minutes, on the 5 minutes rather, you can see here after price taps into this, we didn't really have a structure for me that was convincing enough for me to take an additional entry on the 5 minutes. By the way, this was around 3:40, 3:30 a.m. As a matter of fact, the trade was triggered when I was asleep, and all of this played out when I was asleep. So by the time I woke up, during London session, price was already around, I think, this area here. So my anticipation was that, okay, if we got a pullback, something like this, if we got a pullback, okay, around this area, I could stack up and have additional entries or something like this. This is based on, of course, this is based off what do you call it, the breaker block, right? Entry. Some persons are going to call it breakout and retest, whatever. You understand what I mean? So I was anticipating something like this. If the market was to pull back, then I'm going to enter here, the 5 minutes and then take it all the way up. However, that did not happen. So we did not get that pullback. But something interesting then happened around this area here. You can see here where I'd marked. So this was around still London session. We can see 7 a.m. So the entirety of New York session price was just dancing around. Okay, the entirety of London session rather, price was just dancing around this area. It was neither pushing to the upside, neither was it taking out this lows. So when I saw the structure here, this is gold, guys. Okay, so when I saw the structure here, it was evident for me, or to me rather, that now we had a good inducement where I can consider taking a long here. So essentially, even on the 5 minutes, I could just say, okay, this is my inducement here. I'll put my entry here, put my stop loss below this imbalance of some sort. If I really wanted to be very conservative, I could even do something like this, and then even to my target, I'm going to get like 1 to 2.6 R. That's really good. Okay, but I decided not to do that. So what I decided to do was I decided to go to the 1 minute. Okay, so I went to the 1 minute time frame to get my entry. So let me show you exactly what I did. But to do that, I'm going to take out this guy. I'm going to replay. So let me take this to this. Okay, so let me replay so you see exactly my thought process, right? So now I'll go to the 1 minute time frame. Now the 1 minute time frame, let's see what happened, okay, and how that informed the position I took. Now on the 5 minutes, clearly I just identified the fact that we had an imbalance. So this is from the 5 minutes. So I knew that this was the structure there. We had a clear inducement, okay, and I could just have simply said, okay, based on that, I'm good, just enter 5 minutes and all of that. But I wanted to really extract more. So what I did was I just waited for price to give me multiple confirmations. So let's look at this. So this was around still London session. So price was doing this. So you can see clearly that price was failing to close below this guy here. Okay, and because price is fractal, so what happens on the high time frame can happen on the lower time frame, and you can use that to determine how you enter the market and how you stack up your position. So when I saw this, the price was just sort of I'll say consolidating, ranging around this area, and really wasn't going anywhere. So what I then did was, based on my understanding of structure, I knew that this was an imbalance that should hold based on how price was behaving. We had an inducement on 5 minutes, so I just wanted that extra confirmation in the 1 minute. So it was based on that trade and based on my understanding of where price of course was going to go to. I knew it was going to go high, okay, so it was going to go up rather. So I simply just went to the 1 minute and I was able to kind of then enter the 1 minute, and I got a 1 to 8. So this here, you can see it's still on the chart. Where's the 1 to 8 position I added to the initial 1 to 5 position? I'm going to show you on MT5 how exactly I was able to stack up those trades. So let's just play this and see how this played out. Okay, so that was it, and that was exactly how it played out, guys. Okay, now the question then comes to mind: how were you able to stack up your position? Did you stack the positions here? Did you stack it here? Did you stack it here? Or did you stack it here? Those are the questions that will come to mind. Now I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to do that. Okay, now but just before I show you, okay, just want to let you know that I also have a course on trading at ParutoCapital.com. So if you go there, you see everything you need to know about trading, about rather what we have on offer. We have the trading system. You can download the trading system if that's just what you want. You can get the course if you want the course. You can join the mastermind, which is where I trade every single day with members of the mastermind. London session we have a call, New York session we have a call. So if you want to be part of that, you can essentially just join the mastermind, or you can even take advantage of all the courses that we have, and I would see you on the other side. Okay, enough said. So basically this is the mastermind, just to let you know. So we have the mastermind, we have the VIP access where I simply just share trades on Eurodollar, but on the mastermind we trade gold and sometimes dabble into other things. So you can simply just leverage all of this. The link should be in the description somewhere. All right, so that said, let's go back to I have to fix this. Am I correct? I hope that's correct. Okay, all right, so yes, so now you can see here, so the first entry, like I said, was 330. Okay, this was the first entry that I stacked up, and you can see the lot size was 0.07, and then all the other ones were 0.05 all the way until the last trade. So this were the additional trades I stacked up, and you can see they were all at different positions based on, you know, the prices you can see here. But let me show you exactly how I was able to stack this, right? Because this is just for the purposes of transparency. Now you can see here on the my MT5 here, this was the first position like I mentioned. Then when price, you know, eventually did not give me the pullback I wanted on the 5 minutes, but later on gave me that on the 1 minute, I went to the 1 minute, and you can see all the various positions here that I was able to stack up. Now, what type of orders did I actually use here? Were they buy limits? Were they buy stops? Okay, and that's what I'm going to explain to you, because this is also very important to understand, because when it comes to flipping, you know, any amount of money, if you don't do it properly, for example, if I had flipped, I had stacked positions here, and then the market had pulled back significantly, and with my stacked positions, I could actually end up losing, you know, the $50 in spite of how much I already had going on. Okay, depending on how much I was stacking, and that's why it's very important to understand. So what I did was, I had some of the entries as buy limits, which I entered. And then I had some of them as buy stops at different positions, so that because I knew that the market was going to be, you know, pushed to the upside eventually to hit my TP, so that when the market was now ready to push to hit my TP, it would simply just tag me in and then just go to TP. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And that was how I was able to stack those positions. So I did not just enter all the positions and say, okay, because I want to stack positions, you know, just entered, you know, just sort of either, you know, do a market order or just enter all of the positions into once. No, I was able to spread that out at different point in time. And as the market pushed out, you know, it was able to tag all my entries and then took me to TP. And now look at this. So you can see how the market pushed out aggressively. So essentially I had some positions here, I had some buy stops here, I had some buy stops here. So immediately the market started pushing out, you know, just basically tagged me in, and then that's how I was able to hit, you know, my TP. And that was essentially how I got $1,000. So I moved $50 to $1,000. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you, and that's really, you know, something that's beneficial to you. So hey, this is just to tell you that it's possible. You know, it's possible to actually do this. And yeah, let me even show you this. So look at this. So this was the first position, you can see 0.07. okay, and this were the other positions. So you can see this is actually very nice. So you can see some of the positions I had buy limits, you can see that, and then I had the buy stops. So all I was doing was anticipating that when the market was now ready to push out, it was going to tag all my buy stops and then take me to TP, and that was exactly what happened, and that led to the outcome that this video is all about. So $50 to $1,000. okay, so I want to believe this has really been beneficial to you. If you want to see more videos like this, please do not hesitate to like, to comment, and just leave you know, some comment for me to know. And if it is something you love, I would hopefully do more of this. Okay, so that is it from me today. Stay stuck in profit, and if you choose to join the mastermind or any of the, you know, subscriptions we have available, or even take the course, I would see you on the other side, on the inside. Okay, that means I'm going to see you in the Discord channel eventually, and hopefully we get to trade together every day. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, God bless you, and see you some other time. Bye bye. Cheers.